to get the game underway, just waiting for it to be cleared of all the community teams, and there's been a girls' festival before the game here at Bellevue this afternoon. Our man in the middle this afternoon is Mr. Ryan Cox. We'll try and keep you on updated scores elsewhere, but we are underway here at Bellevue. Lachlan Hannigan collects from the kick-off, and Ross Ainley, that's not the best start. Ross Ainley slips, and Lachlan Hannigan has to take that ball forward himself, and he's wrapped up short of his own 10 metres. Joey Romeo's in the dummy half, comes across the Australian then, Lucas Castle. They're trying to push him back at Trinity, but he's able to foul onto his front is the Australian. Ackroyd in at dummy half. Comes then across to Ross Ainley. He's able to recover from that slip, and he's made it to just over his own 20. As the former Kells man, Ackroyd picks it up one-handed at dummy half, and it's not the start you want. An uncharacteristic error from Owen McCarran, and it means a turnover ball. 40 seconds gone here at Bellevue, so it'll be Doyle in at dummy half. Passes the ball, comes across then I think to Matua Koza. In at loose forward this afternoon. Doyle's in there at dummy half. Trinity at 15 out. Comes across a couple of pairs of hands. Rodwell then gets it across to Josh Borden. And Borden's going to be wrapped up and put down. 2-3 metres out to the left hand side of the post. Going to come left to the second row. It's Josh Griffin, former Hull FC man, and he's going to be held up just short. Is Griffin. Whitehaven's defence being tested in just the second minute here. Going to go right into the hands of Rodwell once more. And Whitehaven defence holds strong. Still a couple of tackles in the back, just to the left hand side of the post. Going to throw it right into the hands of Jowett. Goes out the back end to Noah Booth. Booth then straightens up, and he's going to fall down. It's the 5 and last. Whitehaven have one more to survive in this set. 90 seconds gone. Jowett with the crossfield kick, and it's going to be collected high by Lachlan Hannigan. Fantastic. Gebby was up there as well. Will Evans was in and around sniffing for that, and Whitehaven do survive. Josh Mortimer.
Yeah, it wasn't what they started. They wanted to do, obviously say an uncharacteristic error from McCarran, and but they showed a lot of guile there on the line, and you got good numbers in. They slowed them down, and Wakefield played a lot round the ruck and tried a few times with the big bodies, and it was a speculative kick at the end, but as you say, Hannigan got up really well and out jumped Pratt, and they just need to try and complete this set and get downfield well and go again.
Was here for the Barrow 1895 Cup quarter final, and sort of Wakey were on top really in the early going, got quite a few points, but then the game sort of levelled out. You feel that's something Whitehaven will have to do this afternoon. 5 and last Ainley plays the ball, and they're only on their own 20. Hannigan tries to clear the lines. He's going to be collected on the full by Noah Booth on his own 30, and he's going to be met by the Whitehaven fans defence just over halfway. He gets himself over halfway, does Booth, Ackroyd, Hannigan and Corkill all involved. And Kerr's going to find himself in a dummy half. Going to go towards the middle now is Wakefield. I think it could be Alford off the wing who's come to take this ball forward, and it is. Plays the ball. Doyle's in there at dummy half. Goes right. Finds Jowett. Jowett just pops that ball up to Matua Koza. Finds his front. Does Koza. 20 metres out our Wakefield. Rodwell comes across then to Borden. Borden's then going to be taken down. 10 metres out. Doyle in there at dummy half. Comes left into the hands of Kerr. A couple of pairs of hands. It's going to go out the back. And it's going to be, surely got to be ruled a knock on. He's going to be ruled a knock on there. I think Dean Gebby was trying to maybe try and get his foot to that. He missed it there to the Papua New Guinean. But Alfords couldn't collect it cleanly. Knock on. Scrum down Haven. 20 metres out.
Yeah, it was good. Will Evans was obviously jammed in. He's seen that Noah Booth's coming around the back of a block shape, and he's come out and put some pressure on, and he's tried palming it on, and that's what Wakefield need. They're coming up with individual efforts in defence, and they're forcing those errors, and that'll be really pleasing for Kyle. I think he'll be wanting them to be nugget heel. He'll be wanting them to be tough and just be awkward, and that's what they want to do. So I think he'll be really pleased with that.
Matt Walsh will bring the ball forward from the scrum. He's made it for sort of 6 or 7 metres there as well. So now finds Curtis Tigger in at second row this afternoon. Means he's played all of the edge positions so far this year. Now he's in at second row. Obviously normally either centre or winger. Goes left down the short side to Carter. Comes side to Callum Shaw, who now steps inside. The former Hull FC man's going to be wrapped up. Put down just short of halfway. Carter now comes across to Lucas Castle. Castle looks to throw the offload. Bounces kindly into the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan will run it forward, and he's going to get the ball a further 2, 3, 4, 5 metres compared to where Lucas Castle got it. 4.5 gone here at Bellevue into the 5th minute. Back towards the middle now with Owen McCarran. And McCarran's going to be the one that's wrapped up. It is the 5 and last. They're within 35 Trinity's line here. Hannigan gets the kick up high, goes end over end. Good chase there from Whitehaven, and he bounces off the head, or it's going to bounce off the head of a Dean Gebby, and then it's going to be a penalty for offside, as Joey Romeo judged to have been offside, or maybe Will Evans, because he's having a word there. Ryan Cox is Will Evans, but shows Whitehaven can and will hopefully try to exploit something that they've seen there.
Yeah, I mean, they started that set on their own 20, and they finished with a box kick just in front of the 10. It's come down, it's actually hit Gebby on the head.
You can tell by the way he's reacting. It's come off the top of his head.
Now I don't know if they've given offside from that, but it's good pressure. They're putting the pressure on Noah Booth, and Wakefield were having to come out of a tough area. Yeah, they got lucky with an accidental offside, but they've got to be happy with that. Now they've just obviously got to back it up in defence.
They're going to look to get down Jermaine McGilvery on that right hand side. They shifted the ball left to right completely across the field in the opening tackle there, did Trinity, and it's now going to be Isaiah Vanganar to fetch this ball forward. He's going to be put down onto his front there. There's 4 Whitehaven defenders involved in that tackle. The last 2 off will be the Australians, McCarran and Castle. Going to come left now into the hands of Cozza, out the back to Kerr. Going to try and exploit the gap here. It's now into the hands of Ollie Pratt. Pratt slips, but is able to get up and continue, and it's Hannigan that gets back and completes the tackle alongside Will Evans. 10 in from this near side touchline. 6 again in favour of the league leaders. Comes across then to Liam Kerr. Fine, just pops it up for Josh Borden. Borden keeps going. Put down there is Borden. Doyle in at dummy half. Another 6 again. Going to come down this short side. Doyle's going to look to try and get over from dummy half. Has he got himself over? Is he going to be held up? He's going to be reeled up there. Is Thomas Doyle 6.5 gone? Whitehaven living dangerously. Back-to-back set restarts, Josh.
Yeah. It's. I think they were smart ones to give, though. I think they'd lost the ruck. They're better to just keep their hands in and just try be controlled rather than letting them get the roll on. The danger's coming for Wakefield. They're playing through the middle forwards. That we spoke beforehand how we thought Cozza was a really good rugby player, and he's biting into the line, and he's got willing runners in Rodwell and Bowden, and then obviously there's Vagana on the right hand edge who's a real big body, and that I worry about. Sort of in sort of 5-10 minutes time when those big bodies keep coming, but they're forced an error. It's an incorrect play ball, and that's brilliant.
Matua Cozza wants to play the balls like that afternoon. I'm sure Whitehaven will welcome it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Initially Max Jowett was told a couple of players before that he had to go down because Trinity were going to then be guilty of an obstruction. No, there's a few changes in the Trinity side this afternoon. Obviously, one notable absentee. Whitehaven fans might have been looking forward to see is Lachlan Walmsley. I believe he's back down under for a family occasion. So, but Whitehaven ball comes from the base of the scrum. Wasn't the best pass from McRoy to look for Will Evans. Just had to wait for that to get to him. But he still made 3 or 4 metres post that there has Will Evans with the Trinity defence running on top of him.
Oh, the miles off.
And then now comes to Papua New Guinea and a Dean Gebby. Ackroyd in at dummy half. Looks to come down the short side and into the hands of Rio Corkle in sort of the 20 to 10 metres from this touchline. Sort of in the middle of that, so 15 metres away from this near side touchline. They're on their own 30 here at Whitehaven. Ross Ainley's now looking to be the man to fetch it forward with the line speed from the home side's very, very good. Ainley's able to push the Trinity defence back there and another 2 or 3 metres, however. It's now coming down this short side once more. Hannigan then comes across to Will Evans. Was looking for the Dean Gebby but realised the space wasn't there, and he's put the ball back, and he's then going to be real to have lost it there as well. Evans, I'm not 100% sure on that.
That's a rip.
And that's what Hannigan and Will Evans is saying to the judge on this side. Ryan Cox is saying it's me that's made the decision. Well, how you can make the decision when the back was to play it, I'm not too sure, but he's the one that said he's made the decision, and it's going to be scrummed down heading free to Trinity, just short of halfway, Josh.
Yeah, it's a poor decision. Will Evans had gone to ground. They were trying to drag him towards the touchline, and Ollie Pratt's just got hold of the ball and ripped the ball out of his hands to try and pull him. And yeah, I mean,
we've seen Ryan Cox mouth that I've made the decision. How he can make the decision when Will Evans is at the back of him, you're 100% sure the judge is right on top of it. But
literally, the ball must have hit him, I think. But hopefully Wakefield Whitehaven can continue holding him out.
McGilvray was the bottom man to fetch it forward there. 9.5 gone here at Bellevue, still 0-0. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Trinity's wrapped up 30 metres out. Comes left now in terms of Cozza. Now Kerr in the halves. Obviously seeing him across the championship normally. and it's going to be a one-on-one strip there. It could be a one-on-one strip, and it must be in favour that they were coming back and knock on in Whitehaven, because Joey Romeo was aware there. However, unless he's going to give a knock-on first, yes, he's going to give, there was maybe 2 knock-ons in that, so it is scrum down, head and feed to Whitehaven, and it'll be 15 metres out centre field, Josh Mortimer.
I think you were about to say, obviously, Liam Kay's played everywhere, hasn't he? But he played all his junior rugby as an half-back. He played at Unslot Warriors at my age, and they got.
Is there anyone you haven't played with or against?
Yeah, I played against Darrell Alferts as well. He used to go woo when he ran past you. But Liam played in this Unslot Warriors team that I think they had about 20 lads on scholarship. They were unreal. We were a good team, and they used to give us an hiding at times. There's no doubt about it.
So the ball's coming from the base of the scrum. Gebby plays the ball here. It's now into the hands of Joey Romeo. He'd have been disappointed he was pulled back, the Australian. He was aware, and maybe realised a few seconds after that's why no one was in chase of him. Ackroyd in a dummy half goes left into the hands of Mac Walsh, who's coming off the wing to take the ball forward here. They've made it to just over his own 30, only a metre or so. Ackroyd now comes back towards the middle with Lucas Castle, and Whitehaven find it difficult to make yards forward, but they've done well there as Lucas Castle has made 10 metres, majority of them going backwards, staying up in the tackle. Going to go left now to Carter, who comes across to Curtis Tier. Sort of suppose it's a needs must putting Curtis in the back row, but he's got that sort of frame, hasn't he, as Curtis Tier, just over halfway now on the 5 and last. Going to come into the hands of Carter. Carter gets it away left footed, and it's end over end. Hannigan's on the chase. Noah Booth will collect, but McCarran's there, Ainley's there alongside Hannigan to complete the tackle, and Trinity will play this sort of 22 metres out from their own line. It's
a good set. It's good, they're working upfield. They're struggling to contain Wakefield into their own half. There's no doubt about it. But they're working their way upfield there, and as you say, Curtis Tier's probably playing out of position. I'm not sure if he'll have ever played much second row, but he's a good shape to him. He's got a good attitude, and obviously he's just put his hand up to play there. So you can't knock Lord.
So Noah Booth picks the ball up from dummy half and speeds it to around being 32, 33 metres out. In the middle now, a couple of pairs of hands before then going across to Van Ganaert. It's a 5 and last. Trinity 25 metres out. Going to go down the short right hand side to Jowett. Jowett puts it up in the air. Going to be plenty of pressure put on Joey Romeo, and it's gone backwards off the head. I think is it off Jenny McGilvray. So it could be, I'm just waiting for the final signal here. I think it's going to be a play the ball for Whitehaven, 10 metres out.
Looking at body language, I think he must have made his decision quite early on with that one. It's always those lotteries. You find a lot of teams, really loving that sort of style now. It's a box kick to the 10 in, 10 out, and just make it a bit of a competition. And you're very unlikely to get a negative result from that situation. So. It's a good ploy for most teams to play.
Shaw was the man tackled. It's now Papua New Guinea and Dean Gebby, the man to fetch it forward. Probably haven't seen his best in a Whitehaven shirt. They'd been expecting a bit more over this season from the Papua New Guinean, but he showed flashes at times. He plays the ball now into the hands of Joey Romeo, who then finds Ross Ainley, who's going to be pinned just short of his own 30. In pretty much in centre field now. It's going to come right. Hannigan going to be looking for the early 40-20. Noah Booth knows he's got to get there and collects it on the full. Fantastic awareness there from the Trinity fullback. And then it's now Hannigan that meets him with Ackroyd, but good chase from the Whitehaven defence, especially Hannigan on his own kick.
I've got a lot of time for Hannigan. I think he's a really good footballer. He knew exactly what he was going for there. But a lot of kickers would have stood back and watched that, but he's run after it 40-50 metres, and he's been the one to make the tackle and get a win. And he's just come up with a good one there on Alferts as he was running sideways. So got a lot of time for him. I think he's a really good player.
Ollie Pratt now the man to fetch it forward, just short of halfway. Here are Trinity. Doyle in there at dummy half, going to look to come down this short side with Kerr. Now finds Griffin. Alferts on his outside, throws it back inside now to Alferts, gets the offload away to Liam Kerr, and it's now going to get away from Ackroyd, and he's made it one-on-one eventually with Joey Romeo, but Corkill's there helping him out. Fantastic play from Trinity. It's the 5 and last, and instead of being 40 metres out, they're maybe going to be 5 metres out now. Going to be towards the middle with Jowett running across the line. Comes out the back to Noah Booth. They've got numbers there. It's going to be a ball over the top, and McGilvray absolute bombs one going into that right hand side corner, and it still remains 0-0 here at Bellevue. don't know how. Whitehaven won't care. 14 and a half gone. 0-0. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online.
Yeah, they got a nice 3-on-2 with 20 metres to play in there, and I thought it was pretty good. Callum Shaw's jammed in. He's made it difficult. If they're going to chuck a big barrel past McGillray, they've always got the chance of a scramble, and it's gone straight through his hands and it's hit him in guts. But yeah, that's definitely 4 points gone begging. But Whitehaven survive, and that's what they're just going to keep doing. The longer that continues, the more frustrated and concerned Wakefield will be. They will be expecting to run away with this game, and they're not doing that.
McCarran fetching the ball forward from dummy half, unfamiliar position of course, but in at loose forward this afternoon. Goes left now into the hands of Curtis Tier. Tier brings it over his own 30 and has made it to just short of his own 30 there, so good run from the former Waff Brown man. Mac Walsh holds onto it a little bit too long there at dummy half, and the Trinity defence were right on top of it. Means Carter couldn't do too much. Got it away to Ross Ainley, however. It's going to be the 5 and last and still behind their own 40 here. It's Hannigan who look to get it down the field. Realise there's a bit of a gap there. Alfords didn't have to make too much yards, however, to fetch his ball forward. And he's now looking to be on with Will Evans. Meets there Dean Gebby. He's been in trouble a couple of times for that this season, not using his arms there as Dean Gebby, but hasn't been too much. Lachlan Hannigan was trying to has done very well to wrap up Josh Griffin there alongside Lucas Castle. Made sure he was exactly offside when he was sprinting forward on the play of the ball. Casing there at dummy half to now Ollie Pratt to fetch it forward and take Trinity to just over halfway into the 17th minute. Still 0-0 here at Bellevue. Doyle in at dummy half, goes right. Couple of pairs of hands before finding Jowett, who pops it up. Then for who is it? Vangenaar. Vangenaar who's playing that. Doyle in a dummy half now, comes across then. Couple of pairs of hands before finding Bowden. Rodwell found him. 5 and last, 12-13 metres out. Doyle in there. They're going to look to come down the short side into the hands of Liam Kay. Out the back then to Jowett. Comes the back then to Dolly Pratt. And I can't really see because of the. So you can see more than me. You're higher than me, Josh Mortimer. Go on.
Yeah, so they've just played a little short side play there, and Pratt's come across and tried to just bump Will Evans away, just really fall over the line, and Gebby's got hold of him, and Hennigan's come in, and they're bundled. Well, I'm pretty sure they're bundled into touch, but they're making him play a metre in and a metre out front try line. So
and they're going to push Callum Shaw back over the line here. They've done well, to be fair. He's judged to have lost it as Callum Shaw. I couldn't see the tackle before. The sort of disabled viewing area to just sort of block my vision of that bottom left hand side corner. But yeah, obviously Josh Mortimer thought he'd got him into touch, being judged that he haven't, that he was held beforehand. Callum Shaw's then lost it, fetching it forward, and it's going to be a scrum down, head and feed to Trinity, 10 metres out, knocking on the door as we head into the 19th minute. Yeah,
it's a ridiculously tough place to come from. It's literally a yard in front touchline, yard in front try line, and you can't knock Callum Shaw. It's a thankless carry to do there, and I thought he'd done enough just to stay in field, but obviously the ref said he's knocked on. We can't see it from here, but hopefully they can cling on. It's 4 on 3. So they'll be looking to execute here, I feel.
Jowett wrapped up, bringing the ball from the base of the scrum. Doyle's going to go from dummy half, and then he's going to come across to Matua Koza. He's going to be wrapped up. He's Koza just short of the try line, half a metre. If that Doyle in there, the dummy half goes right, and I think it could be Kai Rodwell who's gone over there from short range. The prop forward for the home side. It's took them nearly 19 minutes, in fact, until the 19th minute here at Bellevue to get on, but they've got the first 4-pointer of the afternoon. 18 and a half on the clock. It's Trinity 4, Haven 0.
Yeah, you can't say it wasn't coming. I was about to make a comment on the previous set. Josh Bowden keeps, when they're squaring up off Koza, a lot of teams, and the way you act of your defence at the moment is you square up, you keep your hips square, and players try to run an ins line to get on your inside shoulder if they can do, and turn you back in and stop the defender sliding back out to cover the next play. But Wakefield have been running a lot of outs lines, and Josh Bowden's been getting past the middle forwards and engaging Hennigan and Corkill on this left edge, and that's pretty much what's happened with Rodwell just going back on the right edge there. Joey Romeo's been defending at a defender, and probably doesn't want to be there really, but most fullbacks will be there on the blind side as it were for that play, and it's just big man v small one, and he's flopped off at line.
Could see a moment of history here. Max Jowett, if he knocks over this conversion, will have broke Neil Fox's record for goals in a season.
My granddad's on that list.
Say that again.
My granddad's on that list.
Your granddad's on that list?
Yeah. He kicked 112
in a season. Well, Max Jowett has tagged on the extras and has broken the record there for Trinity. 164 goals he's kicked in all competitions this season as Max Jowett. That's 328 points from the boot alone.
Yeah,
that's mental.
It does. I think it shows how dominant Wakefield have
dominant
been.
And prolific they have been. Because there's still 3 games to go. 3 games to go after this one. So I mean, if they're being completely honest, if they want to be, it wouldn't surprise me if he's nearly touching 200, depending on how dominant they are in the next few games. Game's back underway. Trinity 6, Haven 0. Carter's kickoff collected on the full by Pratt, Ollie Pratt. And it's now McCarran that's involved in that tackle. Corker and Castle all involved as well, but Pratt's made it to sort of 32, 33 metres away from his own line. Doyle's in there at dummy half, goes right into the hands of Cozza. And Cozza's made it just short of halfway. I'll say maybe 3 or 4 metres. Doyle then going to come left in the hands of try scorer Rodwell. And then finds Josh Griffin, former Hull FC man. And he's playing it 38 metres away from the Whitehaven line now. Going to look to come down the short side. Dummies there, does Doyle, and goes back towards the middle. Gets the ball away to Cozza once more. Ainley involved, Castle's involved, Curtis T is all involved in the tackle there for Haven. Rodwell now comes out to Kay. Fantastic one-on-one from Lachlan Hannigan, but escapes does Liam Kay. With Ainley, Evans and McCarran's all involved. Goes left into the hands of Ollie Pratt, and it's going to be a turnover ball there on the 5 and last. Look to go for the power play at the home side, but the Whitehaven defence has stood up, and it's going to be a turnover ball into the 22nd minute here at Bellevue.
Yeah, it's just pressure rugby, isn't it? That they didn't need to go for a kick there and potentially risk a 7 tackle set, and they're just happy to turn it over inside that box of the 10s again, and just make Whitehaven do the tough stuff, bringing it away.
Still no changes from Whitehaven as of yet, as you'd maybe probably expect with a 2-man bench. Just a reminder, James Newton and Hugh Worthington, the only 2 on the bench for Whitehaven this afternoon. And it's going to be, I think that's harsh on Rio Corkle. I don't think that's come off his hands until he's went to pick it up. And Ryan Cox, I think he's blown a little bit early. It's come off his foot and then it sort of span.
It did.
And it's going to be a scrum down heading for the Trinity. I think Rio Corkle's a little bit unlucky there. The pass wasn't the best, however, mind.
No, the pass was a bit of a honker, to be fair. I didn't see who threw it, but yeah, I do think he was a bit unlucky, as you say. So, but that's pressure rugby for you. Whitehaven are tired. They've been doing it tough in their own 20, and they failed to come out. And this is where Wakefield will look to capitalise.
So it'll be Kay to feed the scrum. Doyle's going to go right into the hands then of Cozza, who goes down, finds Jowett. They're going to go from play 1, finds Noah Booth, finds McGilvery on that right hand side. He's done well there as Callum Short to ensure that he wasn't going to go into the corner, and Mac Walsh has fetched McGilvery down. Comes into the middle now with Rodwell. He's going to be put down onto his front. Is the Trinity man. Only a metre or so out. It's going to go right into the hands of Jowett, then looks to go over the top. Callum Shaw looks to intercept, and he just can't, and it's over the top. And McGilvery is in that right hand side corner. Huge effort from Callum Shaw, was just out of the grasp of the winger, and McGilvery says thank you very much, and he puts the ball down in that right hand side. It's Trinity 10, Haven 0.
Yeah, and, we said it. It's that pressure, it's that tiredness, and good teams, which Wakefield are, there's no disputing that. They punish you. You make an error, you give a penalty away, they're going to look to capitalise on that. And it wasn't the most sparkling play, and Callum Shaw could have maybe got to it, but he didn't quite get there, and obviously it's just gone over the top of him. And McGilvery, he's been doing it for his entire career, scoring. So, but Callum Shaw had done really well a couple of plays before just to shut him down from the scrum. And I was hoping they could have pinned him back a little bit, but I think they're too big at the moment, and Whitehaven need a bit of field position and could do with ball in their hands for a little bit of time, just to try to get some energy back in their legs.
Huddersfield 0, London 6 in the Super League. Up to the Championship, Batley 0, Doncaster 4, Halifax 4, Dewsbury 0, Sheffield 0, Bradford 8, Swinton 6, Featherstone 4, and it's Widnes 0, York 8. No League One games this week. The playoff starts next week. But back here at Bellevue, it's Trinity 10, Whitehaven 0, and Max Jowett with not the easiest conversion, or the PA will tell you he's already got it. Looking to play the music. He's going to come at it right footed in just a minute. There is Max Jowett, taking his time. Is the Wakefield half-back, comes at it right footed now. Jowett, and that's why he scored 165 goals this season. As Max Jowett, he nails it from the right hand side corner. It's now Trinity 12, Haven 0.
Yeah, it's a very good kick. Yeah, no doubt about it. Whitehaven looking as a slow walk back up to halfway line, but there's nothing wrong with it in my opinion. They need to get some air back into their lungs, so take your time, keep your head up, boys, and let's kick deep and try hold them back.
Stop the clock with 14:44 left in the first half. As referee Ryan Cox, don't like a clock that counts down, should be counting up. Makes you think that little bit more, but the game's back underway. Jake Carter's going to be Liam Kate to collect on the try line, and the Trinity man fetches it forward. It is Josh Bowden. Neither side have made a change yet as we're into the 25th minute. Going to be pushed back. Ainley, Castle and Sam Ackroyd all involved in that tackle there. Doyle in there at dummy half, goes right, and re-involved Castle, Ackroyd and Ross Ainley are all re-involved to bring down Kai Rodwell. Sort of 6-7 metres short of halfway. Doyle scoots from dummy half, throws a dummy. Hannigan falls for it and he's through one-on-one there on his left-hand side. Gebby able to knock the ball back, and it's going to be, he dives on it and he's going to give a knock on here. He's gone backwards, he's going to give a knock on, and Dean Gebby will be hard done to if he's not. No, it's a Wakefield knock on. Hold on. No, how can he be a knock on going backwards? Ryan Cox, how can he be a knock on going backwards? Knock on, he's going forward, but yeah. I understand because he's knocked it down. I understand that, but it's gone backwards.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a scrum down, head and feet to Trinity, 20 metres out. Dean Gebby just seeking some physio attention there, but he's okay to continue as the Papua New Guinean, and it'll be like I say, Trinity scrum, 20 metres out. Very similar position from where they were only 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. When it rains, it pours, but yeah, I can't see how we can possibly knock that on. He's running backwards at full flight, he's battered it down, he's then slid past the ball and waited for it to come into his hands. He's not knocked that on.
Fantastic tackle from Curtis Tier, bringing Ian Thornley down. But it's now Rodwell who'll fetch it forward within 5 metres now, in line with the left-hand side post. Doyle looks to go right into the hands of Jowett, pops it back up then for Isaiah Vanganart, and he's going to be wrapped up there. Hugh Worthington getting ready to come on for Whitehaven in their next attacking set, as is James Newton. Comes left, couple of pairs of hands, and it's going to be Bowden. Bowden's going to be hauled down short. Hannigan involved in that tackle. Doyle looks to go right, and it comes off the hand of the Wakefield man right into the hands of Ross Ainley, and it'll be a 7 tackle set here for Whitehaven, and it's then going to be a penalty. Whitehaven's first of the afternoon, and a much relieving penalty. They get an opportunity to clear the lines here.
Yeah, take all your time, lads, take all your time. He's got a bit of a flop there, Ross Ainley. He's been clattered a few times this half. He's had some thankless carries, I reckon, where he's definitely known about it. There's no, and it'd be sore going off, but he's a tough kid, there's no doubt about that.
Right, I think we're going to see a slight change here, because it's 2 props that are coming off. It's Ross Ainley and Lucas Castle. I think we're about to see Carter to 13, McCarran to prop.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see James Newton in at 9, Ackroyd at a half. It's just a complete transformation for Whitehaven. But into the 29th minute, Tia plays the ball 30 metres out following that penalty. Walsh looks slightly high to me, but not too many interested on the field. He's only made 2 or 3 metres there. Newton now pops it up. Was it Newton that could potentially be in at loose forward?
Yeah, I think
could be here. Yeah,
Newton's just going to play as a middle forward, I reckon, by the look of things.
Yeah, because it's Ackroyd that's remained in the halves. Going to be ruled a knock on there by Owen McCannon. looks at and holds his arm out in the air. Said, "Sir, he stripped it. Referee Ryan Cox, he's not interested." 11:20 on the clock remaining in the first half. Means it's just about to go over into the into the 30th minute. Scrum down, heading for it to Trinity, 40 metres out. Renew for Tony, getting ready to come on for the home side.
Yeah, just gets tougher for him. He's a big bruising prop. It's just what you want when you're tired and you've been defending in your own 20 for most of the game.
So Trinity will feed the scrum here, and it sort of got caught in the scrum. It's not the cleanest. Wouldn't surprise me if Whitehaven man's tried to get his foot on it there, been a little bit cheeky. And trying to push as well at Whitehaven. Anything they can to try and get some sort of advantage. Cozza runs at Sam Ackroyd and gets just past Ackroyd, but McCarran and Tears, they're able to help Ackroyd out. Comes left from dummy half into the hands of Kay. Kay pops it up to Josh Griffin. A little fumble from Griffin, but able to pick it up. Renew for Tony. Enters the field now. In the meantime, Noah Booth's now being wrapped up only 11-12 metres out. Just to the left hand side of the post. Doyle going to bring it back towards the middle with Cozza. Goes out the back then to Jowett. Jowett's going to run it across the line. Finds Jerry McGilvray. McGilvray's going to try and use it, maybe get that arm free, offload it back into the hands of Jowett, but he's wrapped up, brought down, couple of metres out. Still a couple of tackles left in the bank. Back towards the middle now. Comes across then into the hands then of Josh Bowden. Shouts a forward from the Whitehaven contingent in the crowd. Doyle goes from dummy half, goes left, comes now into the hands of Kay, comes across to Griffin. Whitehaven surviving once more. That should be the 5 and last, surely. It is. One more tackle for Whitehaven to survive here. Doyle in at dummy half, goes right into the hands of Cozza, comes across to Jowett. Newton's in his hands, then puts a little forward. There is Jowett, and Whitehaven are going to have to get back here. Joey Romeo just kicks it dead. Good thinking on the feet there from Max Jowett, and it's earned Trinity a goal line dropout.
Yeah, really disappointing end from a Whitehaven point of view, because they defended really well there. Callum Shaw and Mac Walsh had come up with a really good stopping tackle on a McGilvray, where we've all seen him power over the top of people and score there, and then Hennigan's come up with a one-on-one on Griffin just off the line as well, and James Newton's flew up and put a bit of pressure on Jowett, and he's shown a lot of class there. It was a really good kick back on the inside, but
Whitehaven will love that. Jake Carter's kick's gone 70 metres. I mean, it's rolled the last 25 of it, but they'll be happy with it, and it's now looking to fetch the ball forward, Josh Bowden. So it'll be Rodwell that left the field for Renew for Tony, it looks like. Doyle in there at dummy half. Goes right into the hands then of Renew for Tony and just pushes Sam Ackroyd off. Gets the offload away then to the hands of Noah Booth, and he's made an extra, nearly 15-20 metres following that. Has Noah Booth. Trinity is sort of 30 metres out now. Doyle in there at dummy half. Goes to the middle with Cozza. Cozza then looks to find a Tony, and Curtis T is involved. Who else was involved with the one-on-one tackle? It was James Newton. Doyle then comes left into the hands then of Matua Cozza. Newton involved once more, as is Hugh Worthington. McCann involved as well. 10 metres out, in line with the right-hand side post. Doyle's going to come, dummied left, shake right, puts it up to the end of Tony. Renew for Tony, and he's going to be pulled down just short. He pushed off Sam Ackroyd once more to Tony, but he's being hauled down inches short of the line. Doyle's going to go right, and a Whitehaven going to be pinned for offside here. 5 and last, and Whitehaven's been pinned for offside. Only the second penalty of the game for Wakefield, and they're going to have to do it all over again.
He stood up with it. I get it when you say you can't dive off the line at the ball or dive at the hooker, but he stood up with it to pass. He's more than entitled to be tackled there.
He's pulling James Newton out here. It's a second penalty of the game. Why have you feel the need to pull someone out?
Yeah, but from a
Whitehaven will take it. Yeah, Whitehaven will take it. They'll be happy to get as much air back in the lungs as they can.
Yeah.
Try and get rid of some of that lactic acid as well, I'm sure, which will be building up.
Yeah, Tony's going straight at Ackroyd every time though, isn't he?
And he's going to do it again here.
Yeah.
And all fairness to Sam Ackroyd, he made sure he was there, but he got past him once more. He's pulled down just short. Doyle's in there, the dummy half comes left into the hands of eventually Noah Booth, and Booth just steps up there. Did Noah Booth. He wasn't initially expecting the pass. It was due to go into Kay. Kay pulled away from it, went into the hands of Booth, and Lachlan Hannigan just fell for what maybe the eyes there from Noah Booth. He's able to stand up and put himself over. It's the third try of the afternoon for the home side into the 32 and a half minutes gone. It is Trinity 16, Haven 0.
Yeah, it was unlucky for Hennigan there. he probably would have been better just shortening up, and it were a 4-on-3, but he's trying to get out to help Will Evans with Griffin and Pratt, and obviously Booth's just in that, and I didn't see which lad it was trailing on inside, but you're probably assuming Corkill, and just wasn't able to get there in time, and so Hennigan's just been left standing there looking unfortunate.
Unfortunately, looking a little bit daft.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but but it comes from they've been on the back end of a few harsh calls. I feel I'm not being biased towards them. I just certainly from where I'm sat that they could have gone either way, and it's kept them in that 20 area, and Wakefield have not really made any clean breaks. They're not cutting Whitehaven to ribbons.
No.
It's just through pressure and just playing rugby in the right areas. So.
Toby Boothroyd comes on for Trinity. Huddersfield have got back in front against London. Huddersfield 8, London 6. Wait for Jowett to go with his conversion attempt before we drop down into the Championship. And right over the black dot here at Bellevue. Remaining in as we're just about to tick over into the 35th minute here at Bellevue. It is Trinity 18, Whitehaven 0, Batley 0, Doncaster 10, Halifax 10, Dewsbury 0, Sheffield 0, Bradford 12. Sorry, Josh Mortimer, it's Swinton 12, Featherstone 4. Widnes 0, York Knights 10. Obviously, you are a Fev fan.
I know.
Yeah, and not going right at Hayward Road this afternoon.
No, Swinton are a bit of a bogey side for us. We lost 42-40 at home.
I remember that game.
Yeah, but we've been going really well, and we've been really tough in out wins in just gritty situations. So
you just saved for putting 60-70 points on Whitehaven.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Carter with the kickoff, going to be right into the hands of Liam Kay on the try line, and then it'll be a Tony to fetch it forward. Worthington, Corkill, McCarran, Evans was all involved in that tackle. Fetched down sort of 18 metres away from his own line. Doyle still out there in the dummy half. It's not Toby Boothroyd. It's a man to fetch it forward. Tries to push off Curtis Tier there, but able to complete the tackle alongside James Newton. Got him from dummy half there as James Newton on Thomas Doyle. So fantastic work from him. Booth goes in a dummy half on this occasion and finds Matua Koza. Koza's going to be pulled down on his own 40. Carter and McCarran involved. Doyle once more in at dummy half. Comes across then. Couple of pairs of hands to Boothroyd. Boothroyd dummies and takes the line on. Gets away from Worthington and still keeps his legs pumping, does the young man. Shouts held as referee Ryan Cox into 5 and last. The 40 out from the Whitehaven line, and Doyle's just going to put the kick in from dummy half. Be hoping it goes dead. Will Whitehaven... Oh, it's going to bounce. Joey Romeo has collected it. It looked and liked to try to get it go dead, but it's just going to be pushed back over the line there. You can't blame Joey Romeo for trying to let it go. It just hasn't fell in the Australians' favour, and it's the goal line dropout. If there's an extra, if that goal line dropout's half a metre short to Josh Mortimer, it goes dead into 7 tackle set.
Yeah, it's just the bounce of the rugby ball into it. It looked for all your money. It was just going to trickle out, and it just took that one last bounce, but it just popped up and turned sideways, and it decided it was staying there. And Romeo did well to get out, but I think it was Griffin who managed to sort of catch him and just sort of keep him back up, and they powered him back over that line. So
Carter's kickoff went 70 metres earlier on, but rolling along as the floor. It's just nearly gone 60 metres before Liam Kay's caught it. Fantastic goal line dropouts from Jake Carter, but runs it forward as Renew for Tony, and he's met and stopped. Sort of 32-33 metres there. You might have just heard the held call of referee Ryan Cox. Koza then finds Boothroyd. I've seen take a ball in on the left, on the right, and now in the middle. He's absolutely everywhere in the opening stages of him coming on there. He's Boothroyd. Koza comes out mountain up to Kay. Kay takes it to the line and takes the line on. Corkill Worthington involved in that tackle alongside Owen McCannon, who comes in and gets involved as well. 3.5 remain in the first half here at Bellevue. Matua Koza, and he just looked to offer it up there, and he didn't even have to do that. Renew for Tony was on his left hand side. I think Whitehaven were too interested in Renew for Tony. Of course you would be. And Matua Koza was able to power his way over underneath the sticks into the 37th minute here at Bellevue, and it's now the 4th try of the afternoon for the home side. It's Trinity 22, Whitehaven 0.
Yeah, it's that battering around middle again. As you said, Toby Boothroyd's come on, and he's made some good yardage, but all these carries have been really combative, and they've been 3 or 4 lads sort of wrestling with him each time, trying to get him onto the floor, and that just takes your toll out of you defensively. And Cos has just carried it straight and hard at sticks there, and I think Hugh Worthington and James Newton, they maybe got a bit confused with who they were taking, and Cos has just sort of breezed through. Really, it's probably the softest try that Whitehaven have conceded so far this game, but it just comes from again you talk about the bounce of the ball, and if that goes dead, Whitehaven they've got a 7 tackle set grinding upfield, and potentially we finish with a good kick. I think have they had one set where they were up in the Whitehaven Wakefield 20?
I don't know, but I feel like I'm going to get a crick in my neck if I look this way any further.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think really the only time they've touched the ball in a threatening area is when it get beyond the head. So
yeah. Jowett able to tag on the extras. Trinity 24, Whitehaven 0 here at Bellevue. We're into the final 2 minutes of this first half, and that walk will be getting slower and slower from Whitehaven. Kyle Amor is just about to make his way down from his position at the back of the stand to our left hand side. There's a big hospitality unit splitting ourselves and Kyle Amor's position here, but I don't think he'll be too disappointed from what he's seen. Josh Mortimer, maybe just how Cozza was able to get over there for that last try.
I mean, as you say, it's 24-0, and Whitehaven have been battered for the entire half, and they've literally played it in their own 20, but they've not give up, and they're working really hard, and Wakefield are a very good team, but they're still turning up for each other. There's still plenty of individual efforts, so I feel Kyle will just be just trying to get some air back in their lungs, and just get a bit of belief and a bit of positivity. Quite often when I've looked around at certainly when James Newton was on the touchline before the game and before they were going out, there were a lot of sort of jovialness from them. They were looking quite happy, and that's just trying to build positivity inside the squad, I feel.
Wakefield are 40 metres out now. Alfitz is in there at dummy half. Liam Kerr was the man who fetched it forward and found plenty of metres there. Did the former Lee man. Alfitz is wrapped up now. Sort of 28 out. Whitehaven will be desperate to keep them out again before half time. Cozza goes right into the hands of Jowett. Comes out then, finds Noah Booth. Booth with the dummy, and he's going to get through there. Is Noah Booth. Gets the ball back inside to Jowett. And it's going to be Jowett to put it down underneath the sticks, putting a slant on the scoreline. While it deserves, probably in terms of domination that Wakefield's had, probably doesn't in terms of Whitehaven's effort, but they're able to go in for their 5th of the afternoon just before the half-time break. And now Max Jowett isn't too far away from breaking Neil Fox's points in a season record. He only needed 18. That takes him up to 12. The very likely conversion will take him up to 14 here at Bellevue, but currently it's Trinity 28, Whitehaven 0, and the hooter is about to sound.
Yeah, it's a bit of a low blow to them at the end of the half, but very good. Noah Booth, they look very silky when they spread the ball. Certainly through Jowett, he's very quick and he engages people through the threat. And Noah Booth's just got on the outside of Carter there, and he still took some scoring from there, but he's got over the top of Romeo, and it's a really good offload back to Jowett supporting on the inside. So tough end to the half, but there's a lot of positives that Whitehaven can be taking from that.
Half time here at Bellevue. Jowett added the extras. It's now Wakefield Trinity 30, Whitehaven 0. It's 2 Bellevue, BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. It is Wakefield 30, Whitehaven 0, which Josh Mortimer, I think if you asked any Whitehaven fan, Wakefield fan, it's probably what they would expect at the half time break, but it's probably got a slant on the score it maybe didn't expect.
Yeah, they conceded a couple just late on. Just looking at your pad, 33, 37, 40, and that's probably to be expected with how much defending that they did. They were very much tired against big bodies that eventually you're always going to struggle with. But it probably put a bit of a shine on what war, because as we said, that other than Noah Booth late on, there wasn't any clean line breaks. They were all sort of just bashing over on the line. So hopefully they can get a bit of luck, get a bit of ball, and try put Wakefield under a bit of pressure early on.
So game is back underway, sort of 30 seconds in, as now Trinity's fetching the ball forward. Made it up to just their own 40 there, with Ackroyd, McCarran, a couple of others involved in the tackle, but it's them 2-minute marker. Doyle still out there and now finds Toby Boothroyd. But he's fetched now just short of halfway. Ackroyd, McCarran and Newton all involved. Doyle in at dummy half, goes towards the middle now with Matua Koza. Koza runs into the line and then finds Josh Griffin. Griffin nearly burst through, but Corkill is able to hold him back alongside Lachlan Hannigan. It's a 5 and last, sort of 35 metres out here. The home side. Corkill pushed away, and it is going to be a penalty. Yeah, he was pushed away and stopped from trying to put that challenge on there, and it's going to be a penalty here to Whitehaven.
Yeah, that'll do. Talk about a bit of luck, you'll take them.
You certainly will, because you don't see them give it every time.
No.
There's probably more sort of collisions end up like that, or sort of collisions always in and around that, but you never really see them penalised. Referee Brian Cox.
I'm
on top of that one.
I'm not sure Griffin made an attempt to hit him. He certainly didn't get out of the way, but he doesn't have to get out of the way.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't.
So,
but it'd be Will Evans to take the tap, just over halfway here for Whitehaven, and the Welsh internationals being pushed back 3 or 4 metres there. So he's going to be playing this ball 42 away from the Trinity line. I'm going to continue with Matt Crickerman if Whitehaven actually continue attacking up here in this second half, because it's obviously the end that Wakefield were attacking in the first half. McCarran now is the man to fetch it forward, tries to spin out the tackle, does the Australian, but he's pulled down 30 metres out as Ackroyd dives in a dummy half. Couple of pairs of hands now across to Hannigan, who gets it across to Rio Corkill. And the former Barrow Raider is pulled down sort of 22 metres out. It's the closest I can remember Whitehaven being for a long time. Hugh Wormington is now the man to fetch it forward, and he's trying to spin out the tackle, does the Welshman. It's the 5 and last, centre field, 15 metres out. Ackroyd's going to go right into the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan's going to put the kick up towards the corner. Dean Gebby tries to knock it backwards, knocks it forwards. Does the Papua New Guinea, and it goes behind the dead ball line, and it will be a tap 20 rather than a scrum down, because he's Simbin and Lachlan Hannigan there. He must have kicked the ball away, did Lachlan Hannigan. I didn't see it, I'll be completely honest. The ball did go a bit further than what Jordan, and he's trying to protest his innocence there, Lachlan Hannigan, and he knows he's got to be out there this afternoon, so I'll be very, very surprised if he has kicked the ball away. But referee Ryan Cox is a lot closer than we are, Josh Mortimer.
He is. They seem to be a bit of a scramble into not quite the fence, but they were certainly laid on the floor, and I didn't see anything in it, but as you say, the referee's a lot closer than we are. But it's not the first time Whitehaven have done that this year, and it's 10 minutes a man down that
they really didn't want.
Yeah, really don't need, especially when they've just, for the first time in the game, they've just had a set in their opponent's half. So, and they need Hannigan on the field. He's a great defender. He's great around the field, and he's the key to their attack.
Got through there as McCausland got the offer away to Max Jowett, and Jowett's going to break the record here, and he has done, as Max Jowett. That's 14 points turned into 18, and he's broken Neil Fox's fantastic record, which I imagine many Wakefield fans thought they'd never see broken. But he's broken the record for points in a season for this Wakefield Trinity side. Just shows how dominant they have been to break a great record from the great Neil Fox. And he's getting all the applause from his teammates and the Trinity fans as well. It's his second of the afternoon. It's Trinity 34, Whitehaven 0.
Yeah, it's a fantastic record to break, as you say. Neil Fox, fantastic player, so anyone who can be mentioned in the same breath as him is certainly doing something right, and he's shown a good set of heels there to just leave everyone for dead, and there's no coincidence he's scoring a ridiculous amount of points. Does it come from being a man down on that right edge? Would Hennigan have got back and made that tackle? It's ifs and buts, isn't it? But yeah, they're doing it tough.
Certainly are. Whitehaven, it's Trinity 34, Whitehaven 0, and with the results going as they are at the moment, I know we're only early into the second half, but Swinton beating Featherstone. I hope you can have a word, Josh Mortimer, with somebody trying to get that change round in the next 40 minutes.
I've just texted Fordy and Paddy, see if we can get it sorted.
Thanks. Jowett's going to have an opportunity here to go 6 from 6. Personal points all at 20 points. Out of the now 36 that the home side have scored here at Bellevue. It's now Wakefield 36, Whitehaven 0. It's a tough task with 13 and only 2 in the bench. It's an even tougher task when you're down to 12 for 10 minutes.
It is, but at least they've got 3 on bench now, so they've got 3 lads having a rest. So.
Oh, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, I suppose. You certainly will. But
you've got to take the positives. But it's not how Kyle would have wanted to start this second half, that's for sure.
It certainly isn't, and yet again Whitehaven will take all the time they can in the world. 5.5 gone in the second half here at Bellevue. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Carter with the kickoff, collected on the full, and it'd be Toby Boothroyd the man to fetch it forward. It was Noah Booth, the man who collected the kickoff. Boothroyd's got to around about 10-12 metres out there for being wrapped up by Rio Corkle. Ackroyd involved there as well. They're looking to go here are Wakefield. They're going down that left hand side, steps back inside. Is it Ollie Pratt? I think that'll step back inside, and he's been taken down by Owen McCarran. Kay's in there at dummy half. Comes across then at Tony, who finds Cozza through the dummy, and he's through against Sam Ackroyd. 1-on-1 now. You could tell straight away, however, he was looking for support there was Cozza. He didn't back himself to go all the way. However, if he put it down, 6 again in favour of Trinity. Come down this short time. McGilvray on this right hand side corner. Walsh will try and get back, but McGilvray is going to put that ball down. It's back to back tries for the home side, and you feel this just could be where the home side are going to make their domination count. Second try of the second half, their 7th of the afternoon. It's Trinity 40, Whitehaven 0. McGilvray with the second.
That poor lad Sam Ackroyd again. He's a relatively small body in middle at field, and Cozza's got straight over the top of him, and as you say, he was looking for support. He looked like he was out for a jog, really. It didn't look like he was used to being in those sorts of positions. They come up with a good tackle, and in Romeo's laid on. They've got a 6 again, but they've just jumped down the short side, and Jowett's chucked a face ball straight across to McGilvray with a 4-on-3, and it's bread and butter for him. It's a really sort of tough start, and hopefully they can get their way back into the game. But Wakefield are looking pretty rampant at the moment.
I'll be honest, I didn't hear what you said in the last 15 seconds. As you can tell, I'm talking to Haddon from Wakefield, because Jack Cross coming onto the field, but he was named as the 18th man. But I was just double checking, there was a late change. Ellis Lingard's been pulled out, and Jack Croft is now coming onto the field. So he was a late change. Was that Max Jowett that's coming on? Ollie Pratt, sorry, my apologies. Jowett's down here taking the kick off, so Pratt with that. So look, Jack Croft was a late inclusion, only just been made away by the Trinity guys behind us. So he's replaced Ellis Lingard, who has come onto the bench. And Jowett is going to line up this conversion attempt to go 7 from 7.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we talked a little bit how sort of Wakefield have rebuilt. They're getting the opportunity to give younger lads a lot more game time. And it's something you don't really get the opportunity to do in Super League. Do you buy a proven player and pay him a little bit more, or do you go into your academy system, and when they've dropped down, people like Ollie Pratt, he's a good lad, but he probably needed a year or two to mature, and he's certainly had that this year, and the young lad Jack Croft coming on, who looks relatively young, and they're getting the chances to get these players with a bit of it first team experience, and toughen themselves up for when they do make the step up, and also that they probably don't have to pay him as much as a second-rate Aussie as well.
Jake Carter with the kick-off, collected on the full by Noah Booth on the try line. Toby Boothroyd. I keep going to go Eddie Boothroyd. That's the former Watford manager, so I don't know where that's come from, but plays the ball as Boothroyd. Thomas Doyle's in there at dummy half, gets it left. And the Trinity man, is it a Tony? I think the man could be fetching it forward. Put down onto his bag.
I think.
Oh yeah, it will be, yeah. So Doyle's in there at dummy half, goes left. Cozza now, then finds Liam Kerr. They're running here. Alfertz is just slightly overrun, centre on that side, which will be Jack Croft, who's gone out there now.
Yep.
But he's wrapped up 40 metres out. Griffin's in there at dummy half. Over the top of Liam Kerr. That's why Josh Griffin doesn't play hooker. Offers it off. Does Cozza, and Cozza's going to be wrapped up as Tia and McCarran in there complete him down. Doyle scoots from dummy half. It's Lucas Castle and Ross Ainley getting ready to come back on down below us. He's not happy with something there, is James Newton. He went down holding his ear, but then has got back up and trying to get back in the defensive line. And it's going to be the 5 and last. Now I think James Newton will have a word here with referee Ryan Cox. He wasn't happy with something, and he pushed Toby Boothroyd. So I mean, he's lucky he hasn't come back for the penalty as James Newton as Ryan Cox.
Yeah, but he certainly wasn't happy about something. He jumped back up, gave him a little shove, and was definitely giving someone a load of verbals as he went as well. I've liked him for a number of years. He's all energy, he's all action, and I bet he's a great player to be around.
So Joey Romeo's fetching the ball forward now. It's Owen McCarran and Sam Ackroyd leaving the field. Lucas Castle and Ross Ainley back out there. Imagine we're going to see James Newton going into 9 now, and that's fantastic. We mentioned it earlier on. The Wakefield Trinity crowd acknowledging, obviously, Whitehaven doing it tough this afternoon, and applauding pretty much like the home players are coming off. Newton gets the kick out of dummy half. He's going to try and get it behind McGilvray, but not many very often do get it behind Jermaine McGilvray. Collects it 30 metres out, running it forward, looking to exploit the gap. He's got it left to Alfertz. Alfertz gets it left hand side to Jack Croft, and Croft will be taken down, and they've gone 30-40 metres ahead of Trinity before being wrapped up. Keir now in. McGilvray once more, fetching it forward into the middle. I mean, he's like a championship prop. He's the size of one, is Jerry McGilvray. Let's be completely honest.
He's massive.
He's huge. Comes across then now to a Tony looking to try and get his arm free. Can't do. Worthing involved in that tackle, as is Jake Carter. Tia was as well. Goes back towards the middle now with Cozza. Cozza then back inside to Toby Boothroyd. Joey Romeo's in there. James Newton's in there. Ross Ainley involved in there as well. 11 and a half gone in this second half. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Trinity come right into the hands now of Ian Fawnley. Done well there, done well of Whitehaven. Mac Walsh especially making sure he could wrap up the arm there of Ian Fawnley. It's the 5 and last, comes left into the hands of Jawed. Looking to put the kick in behind, and it's going to be too deep, and it'll be a 7 tackle set. Tap 20 here for Whitehaven, and a much relieving 7 tackle set.
Yeah, again, you can tell how much under pressure they are, and from the body language of the team that they're done in. But again, Matt Walsh and Callum Shaw, they've come up with a really good effort there on Thornley. They could have easily just been bundled over the line. He's much bigger than the pair of them. He was coming at full pace, but they've just doubled up and they've managed to hold them out. And if I were a Whitehaven fan that had made the trip over today, I'd be really pleased with how they just keep turning up for themselves. Yeah, they're conceding points every so often, but it's not through a lack of effort or endeavour.
Worthing plays the ball 40 metres out from his own line, 10 short of halfway. Ross Ainley is now the man to fetch it forward, and he nearly gets through the line there, does Ainley. Plays it just a metre short of halfway. Whitehaven over it now with Lucas Castle. Shout and move from referee Ryan Cox. Newton in there at dummy half, comes left into the hands of Ross Ainley, and Whitehaven are 32 metres out here now. It is the 5 and last. Comes left to Carter. Joey Romeo's going to be on the chase here, as he's Curtis Tia, and they just allow Booth to collect that and hit him second he hits the floor there, and they've pinned him 2 or 3 metres away from his own line. Fantastic set from Whitehaven. Yeah,
brilliant. Ross Ainley's took 2 carries in that set. He got his head through on both times. Lucas Castle got over the top of I think it was Boothroyd in middle at field, and and it's a really good finish. Curtis Tia's chased really well there. Mac Welsh as well. And they've caught Noah Booth just a couple of yards off his own line. And it's Wakefield will probably still be confident of coming out of it, but it's playing rugby in the right areas. If they make an error now, it's great for Whitehaven. They just obviously don't want to give any penalties, don't want to give any 6 agains. It's tackle 5, and they've pinned them within their own 40, and that's what you want. That's good rugby.
Jay Carter's going to try and put the pressure on, but able to get the ball away. It's going to have to be Joey Romeo that gets there on the full, collects, and he does very, very well to keep hold of it. as well, and the Wakefield Trinity crowd appreciative of that. Romeo's going to be wrapped up on his own 30 metre line here. Whitehaven back up to a full complement of 13 now. Hannigan is back out there. Callum Shaw is now the man that's looked to fetch it forward. Tries to spin out the tackle, but taken down is the winger. Newton in a dummy half, goes into the middle with Hannigan. Realised there was an awful lot of Wakefield bodies on that right hand side and he had to take the line on himself. Pulled down just short of his own 40. Gebby's in there, the dummy half, and the Papua New Guinean's in there. Gets the offload away to Lachlan Hannigan. And gets the offload away into the hands of Dean Gebby. And Wakefield want Whitehaven to score here. The fans down us are applauding this. I haven't seen this before. And that's why I'm so amazed. Come left, now into the hands of Worthington. Comes in under Mac Walsh. Mac Walsh just going to be taken down at the last minute, and it's going to be a penalty here for Whitehaven.
Give a penalty try.
Yeah, give the 4-pointer. Take it. Give the points. We'll take anything with Whitehaven. But
yeah, as you say, it's great from the
Wakefield. It's great. These fans, and it'll be so. The Whitehaven fans amongst them, and also the players as well, will be so appreciative of what Wakefield fans are showing here this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, again, Wakefield have been doing it tough in the Super League for a number of years. They're I think probably a handful of times they've made the playoffs. They've usually been involved in sort of relegation scraps or finishing near the bottom of the year, bottom of the league, so that they'll feel a bit of kinship with the Whitehaven sort of players or fans, knowing how tough it is in that situation. And it's great that they're not sitting on their high horse and saying we're better than you. That they're really.
Lachlan Hannigan's nearly got himself over here, the Australian. He's just taken down and meter out to the right hand side of the post. Newton in there, a dummy half, comes back towards the middle, now finds Carter looking to get the ball, does find Mac Walsh. Walsh then, he's going to try and get over himself as Mac Walsh.
It can't be far off.
Just pulled down short. Shaw's in there at dummy half, going to try and scurry over himself there is Callum Shaw, and he's pulled down just short.
Lucas Castle going to have a go?
It wouldn't surprise me. No, Castle gets the pass in across to Jake Carter. Carter then can't get his arm through, ball's lost, and the Wakefield defence survived what is their first real effort that they've had to defensive effort they've had to put in on their line, Josh Mortimer.
There was a couple of times there Mac Walsh has just got on the outside of Thornley twice. It's fantastic through the middle of the field. We talked earlier in the game when obviously Hennigan got sin bin. He's really important to the way this team plays. And another man, Gebby, he's been on that touchline all game, just doing a couple of shoulder charges really. But he came involved, he got in quick scoop, found Hennigan back on the inside, who got back door pass back to Gebby, and on another day he might have just sort of slid over, but they'd ran 30-40 metres, and as you say, the Wakefield fans were loving it.
Yeah, they were loving it. They were like, bring more of this on. Liam Hood's just come on for the home side. That's what you need, just short of the hour mark. Liam Hood coming on to terrorise you around dummy half, isn't it?
Yeah, just what you want when you're tired.
Just what you want. But Whitehaven pushing the Trinity attacker back there, back to his own 20 metre. And now Liam Hood is the man to fetch this ball forward. Kai Rodwell's getting ready to come back on down below us as well. Doyle in there at dummy half. Looks like Hood's gone to 13. Ross Ainley, I think he took friendly fire there, but he's okay to get back up with his defensive line. I think I'm seeing a right smile from Ross Ainley. I think he took a shot there from Rio Corkhill. Coming to this right hand side now are Trinity, and trying to step up, that's Max Jowett, but he's wrapped up there by Curtis Tier. Ross Ainley completes the tackle along there, the 42 metres out from their own line to the 5 and last. And Liam Kerr drops the ball. Uncharacteristic error from Liam Kerr. And I'm not accusing Trinity of turning off, but when you're 42 points up, you're probably, your head's not quite in the game to save you maybe 2 points in front or 2 points behind.
Yeah. But again, James Newton had come off the line pretty hard, and Ross Ainley had shot hard out from marker, and Liam Kay is a good enough rugby player to not be distracted
Spooked
by
time,
them,
yeah.
but they've put pressure on him there, and they've got the reward, which it's fantastic to see. I mean, Curtis T is going to regret that,
and he's lost it there as he's hit the floor. Curtis T was a fantastic pick up and drive back from Liam Hood. A couple of teammates there just making sure Curtis T is alright, and just takes a drink. This Curtis T from the Whitehaven physio, he's out there, and all applauding each other there at the Wakefield sign, especially on Liam Hood. And even Liam Hood's come up and said, "Are you okay there, Curtis?" Because he was quite a decent pick up and dump, and it's going to be scrum down on halfway to the home side.
Got underneath.
All legal, of course, before.
Yeah. I mean, he got underneath him well, and never tipped him over horizontal or anything. But yeah, Curtis's ribs, or certainly his ribs and his back will be sore, I reckon.
So Trinity form the scrum on halfway, goes left from the hands of Doyle into the hands then of Liam Hood. Kai Rodwell back out there now for Trinity.
I think Hood's gone to half back by the look of things.
Oh, they can do what they want. The 42 points up.
Yeah,
Josh, do you know what I mean? Like,
true, yeah.
Josh Griffin's now the man to fetch it forward. We're on the hour mark here at Bellevue. It's Trinity 42, Whitehaven 0. Coming right now into the hands of Liam Hood. Hood then runs it forward.
Maybe he's at loose forward.
He's wherever he wants to be, Liam Hood, probably. He's probably being given 3 rain by Daryl Powell. Doyle in there at dummy half, goes left. Couple of pairs of hands, can't find Josh Griffin. Griffin's just going to be taken down. 2 metres out. Doyle in there at dummy half, comes across then to Kai Rodwell. And Rodwell's going to be held up. Fantastic effort from Whitehaven.
It's brilliant.
Who's that man who's coming up underneath there?
The Hennigan.
Shock, it's Lachlan Hannigan. No shock at all. Fantastic from the Australian.
Got a lot of time for him. I think he's a really good rugby player.
Comes right into the hands of Hood, finds Jowett. Jowett's going to run across the line, puts the kick in behind the back, and it's going to be collected by it's going to be knock on, potentially could give offside there.
Yeah.
I think what Jowett, I'd be quick to test your innocence there, Joey, because if you're saying it's come off your knee, that's absolutely fine, but Mac Walsh is in front of you, which means it's a penalty.
Yeah.
So whichever way you look at it, it's a penalty or a knock on. So it's going to be scrum down, heading free to Whitehaven, Wakefield, 10 metres out.
Yeah. It's a difficult kick to deal with.
Yeah.
It's thankless for him. He's sliding across. He's underneath people's legs. He's likely to get a leather in. I don't know if it came off his knees. I don't know if it came off his hand. But as you say, it's either a knock on or it's an offside penalty. As Matt Welsh picked up the ball.
Because it could have still been an offside penalty anyways. But happy to give the scrum was referee Ryan Cox. Dale knocked that on at dummy coming out the base of the scrum there. But he's being wrapped up as Doyle. 8 metres out, sort of 15 in from this near side touchline, back towards the middle now with Renew for Tony, and he's going to be taken down in line with the right hand side post now. 3-4 metres out, going to come right into the hands of Liam Hood. He's got the ball down there as Liam Hood. It's a tiring Whitehaven defence, as you can tell. We're into the 62nd minute here at Bellevue, and it's now Trinity 46, Whitehaven 0.
Yeah, few repeat sets that, as we said, that they're not making line breaks. They're just working their way over the line. And Liam Hood's he's a squat, he's a punchy player, and he's just popped up Ross Ainley there and dived at his feet. And it's unlucky for that lad because he's worked really hard since he's come on the field. As you said, there's a couple of tired middles there. McCarran and Ackroyd are just waiting in middle at field, so which two are probably coming off? I'm probably looking at Newton and Worthington. Tier.
Which Curtis T's been playing with a knock for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I think it's just game's done now. Let's give you a rest because there's more important games coming up in the next few weeks.
Absolutely. You said there's Barrow away, there's Batley away,
Halifax away. Halifax at home, final game of the season, which could be, I mean, I say this in a nice way possible, it could be do or bust for either side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they're winnable fixtures for Whitehaven, in my opinion. This one was always going to be a tough one. Has McCarran signed for Halifax for next year?
Nothing official.
I'm sure I read it.
You might have seen some rumours from a certain journalist on Twitter who will not be naming on this one.
Right. Okay.
Will not be naming on this broadcast. You know fine well who I mean. I won't be naming him on here this afternoon. But Jowett able to knock over the extras, and he's 8 from 8. Trinity 48. Whitehaven 0 into the 64th minute here at Bellevue. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. Huddersfield 16, London 16. They're trying their hardest to get off that bottom, aren't they, London? Batley 0, Doncaster 26. Halifax 28, Dewsbury 6. Sheffield 6, Bradford 14. Swinton 20, Featherstone 4. Widnes 4, York 12. And in the Women's Super League earlier on, Barrow Raiders ladies picked up another victory. Barrow Raiders ladies 24, Huddersfield Giants 4. Becca Thompson was with that one from you from 2 o'clock at Craven Park. Carter likes to go short from the kick-off. And Dean Gebby knocks it forward, hold on. So he got done for knocking one.
That's the decision you get when you're 48-0 down.
I don't even care anymore. Whitehaven have got the ball, that's all that matters. Lucas Castle's now on the man to fetch it forward. Just the 2-3 yards forward, Joe.
Oh.
Easily. Yeah. Ackroyd back out there to dummy half. Worthington now finds Carter out the back to Joey Romeo. Looks to go wide. When you're 48-0 down, I don't think you need to be doing that.
No.
I think you just need to try and play your set out. And I think James Newton's just said the same while looking up to Kyle Amor. I think someone just needs to have a quiet word there, Joey. We're 48-0 down, mate. Let's try and complete the set.
Yeah. I think he does make some poor decisions at time, Romeo. I think when he bites into the line. It was a nothing play. There were 3-on-3. It was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, because let's be honest, if Callum Shaw takes that, he's probably getting bundled into touch.
Well, that's it. I didn't know a right lot about Callum Shaw until a few weeks ago. From what I've seen of him, he's got bags of effort, but he's taking McGilvray on one-on-one with a two
when you put it
channel.
That way as well, I suppose.
You're asking a lot of the lad there for sure.
He's taken on a former England international who scored tries in Super League for fun, but it's now where Ian Thornley gets it across at Daryl Alfitz. They've made sort of 20-30 metres out of Trinity and got up to just over, a smidgen over the halfway line. Alfitz plays the ball into the 66th minute. Whitehaven's effort's still there, but he's left the gap now with Hugh Worthington, and it's going to be Vangenard to go in through the middle. It's Kai Rodwell, and Rodwell's going to go in for his second of the afternoon. He's rounded Joey Romeo out the back, and it all comes from Hugh Worthington trying to put that effort on, leaving that gap. Trinity will have to explode. It's 50 up for Trinity. It's Trinity 52. It's Whitehaven 0.
Yeah, it's a couple of probably poor decisions individually there. Hugh Worthington, he's worked really hard this game, and he's come out of the line to try put some pressure on his own. It's individual work. He's left a big hole in the middle of the field. He were always going to be tough getting there, and Hood was just too light on his feet. He's just hit Rodwell, who's absolutely flying onto it, and then he's done a little shimmy step on Romeo, and again you talked 2 minutes earlier. Whitehaven are in Wakefield's 20, and Romeo's throwing a pass that's not needed, and you just played that percentage game. Would they have been in that position? Who knows? But it's probably not what you want to see.
Just under 13 and a half to go here at Bellevue. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online via the BBC Sport app, website and your smart speakers. If you are joining us this afternoon, thank you very much for your company. But and I say this in the nicest way possible, it must have been tough listening at times to your Whitehaven fans out there this afternoon. Max Jowett is going to be looking to go 9 from 9 for the personal points haul of 26 points so far if he knocks these over, and he does, as you'd expect him to, from right in front. It's Trinity 54, Whitehaven 0. Josh Bowden getting ready to come back on down below us, and it looks to be renewed for Tony, the man who's going to be getting the rest for Darryl Powell's side. 12 and a half remaining here at Bellevue. Trinity 54, Whitehaven 0.
Yeah, it's when you're doing it tough and you've got a kicker of Jowett's quality, it's always done 6 pointers, isn't it? And
I'd love to see his kicking percentage this season, because I imagine it's probably hovering around 90%. He just doesn't seem to miss.
No, they've all been pretty comfortable from where we've been sitting. So don't get easier.
It doesn't. Carter elected to go short. Wasn't as short as the first effort. Whitehaven not able to come back with it, but Trinity had to knock it back. So it's Thomas Doyle, the man that's going to be wrapped up with it, 18 metres away from his own line. I think Rodwell looking to play that ball now. Doyle once more in at dummy half, goes left.
Where's Sam Ackroyd from?
I'm from Bradford. Yeah, he's a loanee from Bradford. really, really highly rated at Bradford. Wanted him getting, obviously the academy season's pretty much finished now, so wanted him to go out and get some rugby. And once Bradford found out the position Whitehaven were in, Wakefield's lost that ball there in and around halfway. Talking to Sam Ackroyd, I'll be honest, I think
he ripped it.
I was just about to say, I think he ripped it there.
He did,
yeah. But once Bradford found out the position that Whitehaven in, they said, don't have to pay a loan fee for him. So, and then you get again, yet again another show of generosity from the rugby league family, as well as what Bradford had showed when they were one of the first games it was when they come out.
We played Bradford a couple of years ago in Challenge Cup, and they were really good with us. You know, they were really good off the field, really good on the field, and you know I've got nothing but good things to say about Bradford and the chairman. He was a really nice bloke.
Ackroyd at the back of the scrum. Jack Carter's nearly through there. He's wrapped up 40 metres out. Ackroyd remains in there at dummy half. Comes left now into the hands of Lucas Castle. James Newton staying ready to stay on down below us, and that ball's going to be lost. Judged, you can hear the shout of Lucas Castle. I won't repeat that shout because you know it might be something we can see on the radio, but we heard the shout, and that's his last action there as Lucas Castle comes off the field to be replaced by James Newton, who I'd imagine we're probably going to see to jump in at loose forward again.
Yeah, I reckon so. 10 minutes left. You know, if they 10 minutes, if they can keep them below 60, I think Whitehaven will be pretty happy with themselves, to be fair.
Well, I'm maybe a few pints in when I said this yesterday. I said if Whitehaven keep it under 100, I'd have been happy. But fair play to Whitehaven in that opening 20 minutes. They kept them out, and Trinity have been scoring at regular intervals since then. But they're going to do this they've done this to most sides in the Championship this season.
Yeah.
So they're fetching the ball forward. Liam Hood's coming off. Well, that's a short spell for Liam Hood. He's backed himself a try. He won't particularly be bothered as Isaiah Vanganar is going to be out there.
Yeah, is he coming back from injury or getting a bit of game time?
He's got a little bit of a limp there. I don't know what he's coming off. I wonder if he's just maybe he's coming back from something and doesn't want to risk him too much. But Thomas Dell's in there. The dummy half goes left, goes right, and he gets round one, gets round two, dives under the tackle. And then it's now going to be taken down. He's 12, 13 metres out, in line with the left-hand side post, attacking left to right in the second half. Liam Kay's dived in at dummy half, comes right into the hands of Rodwell, searching for his hat-trick is Kai Rodwell. Doyle once more, comes right into the hands of Jowett, comes out now to Thornley, steps up the line, Carter slipped, and he's able to keep him held up. There is Ian Thornley.
Well done.
Ackroyd got back, the Karen got back. Who else was underneath that? Joey Romeo got underneath as well. Ian Thornley says I got that ball down, and Carter's just taking his time there getting up, but he just slipped in the defensive line, which left the gap open there for Thornley to exploit. 8:45 left here at Bellevue. Comes left now into the hands of Jowett. Vanganar's back out there. Kay now. They're going once more left into the hands of Josh Griffin. Griffin tries to spin out of that tackle. Still a couple of tackles left here. Kay's in there at dummy half. Sorry, Doyle's actually in there now, and he comes across to Josh Borden, and he's going to be just short. Doyle in there once more at dummy half, and it looks to Joey Romeo's fell for that hook, line and sinker. He threw an outrageous dummy, did Thomas Doyle, and he's just Romeo's looked for the intercept, and it's left, and Doyle has exploited the gap that he's gone over in. Trinity 58, Whitehaven nil. It's their 10th of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's just unlucky. You know, they keep turning up for themselves, as you say. Carter slipped. Thornley looked, for all money to score. They've got underneath. Romeo, Matt Walsh, McCarran were all there. Thornley got up pretty sure he'd scored, but the ref said that he hadn't. Again, they've spread the play. Griffin's bit through the line. Hugh Worthington's come over the top and stopped him reaching out and scoring in it. And they just keep coming up with those just efforts and on top of efforts, and again it's just a barge over where they, as you say, Romeo shot out the line, Doyle's thrown a dummy and just managed to get that yard and just get his arm through and put the ball down. It's difficult to take because they're not being cut to ribbons, that they're just conceding through attrition.
Yeah, certainly are. Huddersfield 18, London 16. Batley 0, Doncaster 32. Halifax 28, Dewsbury 6, which I think pretty much should secure their championship place. Sheffield 6, Bradford 18. Swinton 26, Featherstone 8. Widnes 4, York 12. You're scoffing at that just as much as I am.
Yeah. I just didn't see that coming. We've been playing really well for the last few weeks.
It's because you're not there, Josh.
Yeah.
Max Jowett added the extras, 10 from 10, 100% with the boot. 28 points of the 60 here at Bellevue's come from Max Jowett this afternoon. And it is Trinity 60, Whitehaven 0, 6.5 remaining here at Bellevue. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. And that slow walk from Whitehaven, and of course they're going to take any second they can. But all looking forward to next week now, that huge Cumbrian derby. Full match commentary coming from Craven Park. It'll be the Barrow Raiders versus Whitehaven. I haven't confirmed this with Dan Payne, by the way, but if you're listening, Dan, we're going on ahead at 2:30 next week. Just in case you're listening. If not, I'll text you later. But yeah, we'll have a full 30-minute build-up. We'll hear from both coaches from that one ahead of kick-off at 3 o'clock at Craven Park. Carter looks to go short again. That's the height that they'll want it. Adine Gebby rises out of nowhere, does the Papua New Guinean. Leaps like a salmon, and will play this 30 metres out. Romeo's in there at dummy half. Comes across then to Hugh Worthington, Welsh international.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a break this half as well.
No, I don't think he has. Ackroyd's gone right into the hands of Hannigan, and comes across to Rio Cork. It'll be fantastic if Whitehaven can get themselves over here.
I think it'd be the biggest cheer of the day.
Probably, yeah. Cork will play the ball now. Ackroyd's in there, comes across then to Hugh Worthington, sticks his head down and runs forward, does the Welshman. Put down onto his side more than his back. Just to the right hand side of the post. 6 again here in favour of Whitehaven. It's the first of the game, but then it's gone back off Hannigan, and it says it's going to be knocked down. It's alright, it says it's been knocked down by a Wakefield man, so it's going to be scrum down, head and feed here to Whitehaven, 10 metres out. So after all that, it's coming back to Whitehaven anyways.
Yep. They've had a couple of times where they picked ball up and gone away with it, but you want them to get over. I'm willing them to get over. I just Wakefield are just very good defensively,
if it's anything, just to avoid not scoring a point for back-to-back games.
Yeah,
I remember them doing that a good few years ago.
I think if it's going to come from anywhere, it's going to come through Hennigan.
Well, Hannigan gets the ball from the base, gets the ball from the base of the scrum, but he doesn't. It comes to Carter, who finds Mac Walsh. Curtis T is getting ready to go back on there, and it's going to be a penalty for Whitehaven. Take the 2. I say jokingly, of course.
I think Hennigan pointed it.
I think Hennigan did. Lachlan Hannigan initially pointed. Let's go for the 2.
Yeah.
And Ackroyd will elect to say no to that, and they'll take the tap. 4 minutes 20. Owen McCann's to fetch it forward. Curtis T is out there now. Is Curtis T going in the middle? I think he could be, because Ross Amy's the man to come off. Goes right into the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan now out the back, hits the floor, into the hands of Will Evans. He has to go back for it there, did Evans. I lost a bit of momentum, and maybe overall 7 or 8 metres. Playing these 22 metres out now. Whitehaven comes left now into the hands of Hugh Worthington. Trying to get his arm free, does get his arm free, does Worthington, but there wasn't too much in support. Ackroyd says, where were you at? And he's going to go right into the hands now with Newton, and Hannigan looks to put the kick in behind, and it didn't give it. He's over there to Whitehaven. They're not going to go pointless back to back, and you're not far wrong, Josh Mortimer. It almost is the biggest cheer of the afternoon. It's Wakefield 60, Whitehaven 4, and excuses if we sound a little bit excited, because Whitehaven's effort really does deserve that this afternoon. The Papua New Guinean goes over for his 6th try of the season. A kick in behind from Lachlan Hannigan. He said it was coming from Lachlan Hannigan, Josh Mortimer.
Yeah, well, he'd been wanting the ball in the set a fair bit, and Newton had ended up with the ball that play, and I don't think they wanted him to get it. I think they maybe planned to do something a little bit different, but there's no doubt about it. Gebby was motoring onto it. They knew the play they were going for, and I've said many times, I think Hennigan's a really smart footballer, and it's very much deserved. They've not had many opportunities, but they've got into the right area. They've grafted their socks off, I've no idea where half of them are playing. As you say, Curtis T seemed to come on it middle at field, but they're just turning up for each other still, and that's fantastic. And Wakefield fans keep chanting Haven every so often as well, and it's great to see.
And just listen to that. When's the last time you heard a visiting team applauded like that? They've been really, really classy of Wakefield all of this week. And I tell you what, if they get back in the Super League next year, I wish them very, very well. here at Bellevue. It's Trinity 60, Whitehaven 4. Lachlan Hannigan going to have an opportunity to try and add the extra 2 points. Comes at it right footed, is the Australian, and he does. It's Trinity 60, Whitehaven 6, 2 minutes 9 left here at Bellevue. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online.
Curtis Tears coming off the back fence, I reckon.
He's playing the middle. I just said he's got a massive smile on his face as well, hasn't he? He's on the right, so that's the wing, centre, back row, and prop he's played.
Yeah.
And 2 of them positions he played for the first time this afternoon, at least for Whitehaven. At least he might have done a job somewhere for Wathbrow, but in terms of,
I'd be very surprised if he'd propped for Wathbrow. That is for sure.
I'll yeah.
Played a lot of fullback.
Yes, definitely has it. For Wathbrow, Worthington's now fetching the ball forward. He's wrapped up 10 metres out. 5,096 here at Bellevue this afternoon. Remember, all of the ticket proceeds here from Bellevue this afternoon that were made from after 7 o'clock on Wednesday evening are going to Whitehaven. And Noah Booth gets the official man of the match. Romeo plays the ball. Ackroyd's in there at dummy half. Goes right, finds Hannigan. Hannigan then finds a Dean Gebby. Hannigan's been taken out there. We're going to be coming back for the penalty. And then the touch judge raises his flag. So I wondered if that's just going back for the initial penalty, or could Whitehaven get something a bit further forward there.
Send 4 of them off.
I don't think it's going to make a difference, Josh, in the final 80 seconds. If he wanted to do that 80 minutes ago, we'd have taken that. But I'll tell you what, penalty counts well in Whitehaven's favour. I've got it as 5-2 in favour of Whitehaven. I can't remember Whitehaven conceding a penalty in the second half, but to be fair, it probably says because they've broken through a good few times as well, Josh.
I think as well that the ref has certainly made some questionable decisions this half.
No comment.
And it's difficult to not be rooting for Whitehaven. I think probably even the Wakefield players will be rooting for him.
Curtis Tier hits the floor. He's playing middle, he's Curtis Tier.
Definitely.
Ackroyd goes right into the hands now of Lachlan Hannigan. Gets it across to Will Evans. Evans is going to try and hand the man off. 30 seconds left here at Bellevue. Ackroyd's in there at dummy half. Comes left now into the hands of Lachlan Hannigan. Comes across then to Newton. Go on, go for the one. Go on. Why not?
I think they'll go right.
He should have not that there. As James Newton. That's how it's going to be our final action here at Bellevue. I don't think we're going to speak to Kyle Amor live, purely because Trinity are going to be parading their their league leaders shield. So I think we'll go off there pretty quickly. You might have just lost us temporarily because that was loud. But we're going to go off air pretty quickly here at Bellevue. But it's finished full time. Trinity 60, Whitehaven 6. 10 tries from the home side, but Whitehaven have the last word. Dean Gebby putting the ball down for the 6th of the season on the back of a Lachlan Hannigan kick. As I was saying, we won't speak to Kyle Amor live. It's going to be pretty noisy here at Bellevue, so I don't think we'll get the best from Kyle Amor. So we'll speak to him off air and try and get that posted across our socials as soon as we can here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport.